Alright, how's it going everyone? Today I'm going to be harvesting all of the potatoes in the garden bed here. I did harvest a small section right over in this corner and a couple of the plants back behind here in this volunteer butternut squash a couple weeks ago, but I think it's time to harvest the rest of it. There's one section right here, I think this is the russet potatoes that are still growing, so I might leave these ones for a little bit longer. But the tops to all these other ones have died off. So the plan today is to harvest all of these, trim back a lot of these volunteer tomatoes that have been growing on the edge here, and start prepping for the fall crops. And possibly even start to seed some before the rain starts, because it would be a good time to get them in now right before it starts cooling off for the next couple days. So, got my pitchfork over there in the corner. Gonna use that, start digging up some of these potatoes. I planted 20 pounds of seed potatoes back in April, I believe it was, so we should have no problem getting at least 20 pounds back from this. But before I get into harvesting the potatoes, let me do an update on the rest of the garden here. So here's the peach tree. The peaches are finally starting to ripen up. They're getting their color, but not quite getting soft yet. They got a little bit more growing to do, another week or so. But there are a lot on there, which is good. A lot of them have been dropping off and squirrels have been taking a lot of them, so I have plenty to share. Here's all the potted plants. We got the okra that's growing pretty well. A lot of the older leaves have been dropping off. For some reason, the zucchinis, the other one looks the same as this one, not doing too great. They were starting to grow really well, and then as soon as they start putting out flowers, they just started to die off. I don't know what the deal is. They just must not like growing in pots. Hot peppers. These ones are ancho chilies. Got a lot of them hiding in there. Tons of them, as you can see. We got the cayenne peppers. Something's been getting into these. I'm not entirely sure what, but it doesn't matter. Gonna be just drying them and making a powder out of them anyway. Some good ones right in here. Some more back down there. And then we finally have some cherry tomatoes coming onto these plants. Got some bumblebee ones. Some volunteer cherries growing here and in there as well. We got these yellow tiger striped ones as well. As for the sweet pepper garden here, we are finally starting to get some sweet peppers. As you can see, I harvested a couple off of this plant the other day. There's a couple little ones starting to grow on there. Some bigger ones on these plants. And I'm not seeing too much on the rest yet. Oh, never mind. There are some down here as well. Sweet pepper there, a couple there as well. I have to stake these up because I'm going to be planting lettuce and spinach and such in between the rows again and down here as well. Alright, and here's the tomato bed. We're getting a lot of tomatoes, a lot of big tomatoes, but even more cherry tomatoes. As you can see, there are tons and tons of ripening cherry tomatoes in here. Harvesting about a pint of them every other day, which is great because I love eating these fresh, just like this, and putting them into salads. And for the large tomatoes, we're getting a couple every other day or so. Have to harvest some of these before the incoming thunderstorms that are supposed to be coming this afternoon, so they don't split open with the rains. But tomatoes are doing great. Down here anyway. That fungus that was growing on these plants down this way seems to have subsided for the most part. Still have some yellow and leaves that I have to pick off, but I've been keeping up with it and the plants are still alive, so doing pretty well. Now here is where all the cucumbers were. All the cucumbers died probably about 3 days after I made the last update video. They just all died. All the cucumbers turned yellow, all the leaves just wilted and turned brown, and that was the end of them. So I dug them all up. I dug up all the weeds, all the sheep sorrel that was growing in here and encroaching into the bed. And there was actually weed tarp. There was actually an old weed tarp underneath all of this, so that's why it's all ripped up like this, because I ripped all that weed tarp out so that the plants can actually get down into the rocks. Even though it's only rocks, it's better than a weed tarp. But I'm going to be planting this all in something, radishes, not sure yet. I still have to do all the planning for what's going to go where with the fall crops. But it will be planted in something soon within the next week. And finally, here's the butternut squash bed. Probably should have done this earlier in the day before all we started the wilt with the midday heat. But we're getting a lot of butternut squash starting to fruit on this. Nothing ripening yet, still all green. But so long as nothing destroys these plants or the fruit, it's gonna be a good harvest. So you can see, there's a couple there. Most of them are down this way. There's one down in there. A few of them growing on the fences, one there, one up there, another one here. And then a bunch growing along the patio here as well. And up there into that bush. So hopefully we get a nice healthy crop of butternut squashes this year. And the zucchinis, I don't know what's going on with them. They started to take off when I first put them in the ground, and now they're just putting out little leaves and not really doing much of anything. So looks like I'm not going to be getting any zucchinis this year. I don't know what to do about that. You plant them early and they get eaten by all the bugs. Plant them late and they just don't grow. So I don't know. But that's the garden update. So let's get into the potato bed and start pulling up all these potatoes. All right, here's a better one. They're not big, but there's more of them here. Oh yeah, some bigger ones. Oh yeah, a ton of them actually. Man, look at this. It's all from one plant. Pretty good. All right, starting to get into the russets. Some decent sized ones. Not bad. A couple of them with bite marks or something in them. Grub bites, I'm not sure. Set those aside, eat those first. There's a nice one. It's probably the biggest one I've gotten yet. Not saying much. There we go, there's some nicer ones. Alright, so it seems like I was wrong. Looks like I've already harvested the russets, as you can see, and I'm just starting to get into the kennebunks now. So I'm about halfway done. We got, I have no idea how much, definitely more than the 10 pounds that I planted in seed potatoes, so let's finish this and see how much we got. Ooh, man. This one's loaded. A lot of insect damage though. Yeah, they're all damaged from insects. Oh, that stinks. Been finding a lot of them that have been eaten by grubs, other insects in here, so unfortunately can't be keeping them, but I feel a lot of them again. Oh yeah, there we go. Those are better. Not damaged. Oh, there's a lot of them. Ton of them. All right. Oh man, there's a big one. Biggest one yet, I think. Oh yeah, definitely. Sweet. But more chewed up. You know, there's a vole that's been living around here, so I wouldn't doubt it if he's the one responsible for all that. Oh well. All right, last one for the day. I'm gonna be leaving all these green ones, let them go on a little bit longer. Oh, actually there's two more. There's another one right here too. So this one. I'll leave the rest. Oh man, yep, another nice big one. These red Pontiacs did great. I left these as more whole seed potatoes rather than cutting them in pieces, so I wonder if that helped. There's a lot more big ones of these than the others. Alright, so here's the potato harvest for the year. Definitely more than 20 pounds. We did have a lot of rodent and insect damage, but still got a good harvest nonetheless. And still got a few plants out there that have to be harvested in the coming weeks once the plants die off. But these are all the ones that are undamaged except for this potato here. Let's end up eating this one. I didn't want to waste this nice big one. Probably a couple others I'll take out of that pile that I don't want to waste either. But alright, just gonna get these inside and it's time to start planting the fall crops. But before I do that, here's all the damaged potatoes. I just left them all here in a pile. The voles live under this cooler here. And as one of his holes is right there in the corner, so figured I might as well leave him there for him. He's already damaged them, so might as well not stop him from eating them all the way. But anyway, let's get to planting this fall crop. Alright, so it's been about a week since I planted the potatoes. I got all the fall crops in, and a lot of them are starting to come up already. So I'll show you quickly what's going on in here. For starters, down this end, I have 2 rows of peas going up along this netting here. At the ends of the rows, I have spinach. This is dill, spinach again. And in between the 2 pea rows is Swiss chard. And then I have a couple native vines and milkweed growing in pots here. Over here, this whole row is broccoli. This whole row is cauliflower. These 2 rows here are radishes. They're all coming up nicely. This row is kale. Here we have the potatoes that aren't done growing yet. We have a little bit more dill down that way. And another row of kale here. As for this garden bed, I actually ran out of seeds, so I haven't planted anything in here yet. So I have to think what I'm going to do here. I might do more radishes and spinach, is my guess, but we'll end up seeing. And down below I just took a bunch of the extra seeds that I had, old seeds and whatnot, kale, spinach, lettuce, things like that, and just tossed it over the bare area down there. But with that, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time.